This one is called Instructions for Reading This Poem. Read it fast like sipping a hot cup of soup. And there are 7 little parts, and here they be. And they're all called Lock on a Woman. Lock on a Woman. Joe Shapcott said, the panel was convened and said, a poet ought to be an outsider. She has to be an edge, as discomfort makes for clearer vision. Maureen Duffy reminded everyone of the audacity and courage of Aphra Behn and Virginia Woolf, pinpointed a feeling of outsiderness. I thought, how unpleasant it is to be locked out. And then I thought how it's worse, perhaps, to be locked in. And it was then that everyone said, oh, those women, they're so unhappy everywhere. That was the birth of feminism, which is just a constantly rolling wheel of women screaming about the beginning of time. Lock on a Woman 2. She locked herself in and was afraid, got locked out and was afraid, sat in her car thinking somebody was in the shrubs, saw the locksmith, was afraid because he was a man, stayed in her car till winter, then snow melted, still she was afraid. Then the car rusted shut and she was afraid of oxygen, no oxygen, too much oxygen, how blood could boil and disappear, saw her children growing up and down the driveway, past the front door doing their dances on flagstones, wanted to go to them, but she was afraid. And in the end, it was just a metaphor for being a woman. Lock on a Woman 3. There were some men who were allies, and they were the ones who thought she was pretty, who thought they could put their junk out there. After all, it was the Holiday Inn and a work retreat in the beginning of the 21st century. After all, it was still America in the sun. A stretched out version, to be sure. The sun, an anthropomorphic version of the salad days, some animatronic version with ball green bass hanging from the wall, some low country and western song. The sad American sequel, the slopped second. Sucks how all metaphor, all poetry is drawstring, ragged moan, useless, useless. Lock on a Woman 4. Save yourself from drowning by climbing. Girl. Lock on a Woman 5. It was the day of my birthday. And he said he thought he heard another man's voice in the garage. It was my birthday, you hear? And he said he heard another man's voice in garage when there wasn't none even in there. It was my birthday. The one time he said he heard another man in the garage. But I'm telling you, there was no other man. I told him, but no matter how you say it, he killed that man walking on the pavement because a voice was somewhere it didn't belong on him. And that had to mean something about his woman. Lock on Woman 6. It was my birthday that he said he heard another man's voice in the garage. You see, a woman killed, but only in her thoughts. A man killed with his hands and then ran his fingers across it like he understood what it was to be an animal, to be part of animal things in a way a woman could never understand, he said. Lock on a Woman 12. The way she takes one string off her dress, the way it is useless to her unless she has OCD. The way it is a useless remnant and nothing to be beholden to unless she has OCD. The way she can't imagine what that part of her dress could mean. She so carefully flicks it out and away, her dress a big sky country. And there is time for a woman in Texas. The Texas edition of poetry is different from other editions because of all that cowboy grandeur. A woman in Texas, 1. The grand citizens of Texas, remember, we are all just blowing on a breeze. That's hard for you to realize. You kick good rocks that are the real citizens of the earth. Remove the gravel and put in your fish pond and wading pool. All that gravel goes somewhere else. On this here planet, everyone's address should be 123 Rock Avenue, Planet Metal, USA. Oh, but it ain't. If only you was as cool as Sequoia sempervirens. If only you could live and live and live in Northern California and have that good address. If only you was on the shore around Mendocino in some fabulous mid-century modern architectural jewel that someone's dad just built. 1970s blessing, the previous owners left a copy for you, but only that one daughter, only that one can appreciate history. You know how the rest of them barely make it out of bed in the morning. Sometimes when you're drinking coffee out of the good cups you bring it, which one of these kids really living up to their potential? The ones with some kind of mood stabilizers. So who is he really, you say to yourself? And you don't ever say that in public because people will come after you because you can't ask questions in America. You must make pronouncements, have a bunch of biddies behind you nodding their heads saying, yes, there is no room for question anymore. We have to know everything already. There's only one place, maybe in your own mailbox. Maybe you can move a question side to side like when you was little, beginning to know your body all those times you spent looking at your little hand. Look at your little hand now. Not so different. And yet the joints, they thicker. And you wake up in the night gnawing and aching, the kind of ache you can imagine brought you into some consciousness, some screaming when you was an infant. What kind of ache was that that called the house awake in your non-remembering, your acorn state? There is no doubt that was you, some kind of nebulous you in the making. You all swaddled in pink and blue and hot and Oreo like you is. Oh, you mysterious you. Every day I tell the children, let's go outside. We can make good. And that means don't run too far away, but don't grab anything that's too hot or sharp. Don't be mean to any of the other children, especially Claire. Stay back. Every day I want to tell the children, run as far as you can to the outer edges of what this school means. Every day I want to say to them, climb and keep climbing, climb until you fall and fall and fall every day. I almost want to tell them, run into traffic, dance between the cars, you're only young once. Then something tells me, you need this work. Do not beckon the children to dance for danger. They are paying you to show them the line. They are stealing your life and paying you in pizza money so you can teach others. I know we should do something else, but every day I make it to my car in the gray morning to do dances that really are against me and everything I stand for. And every day I'm happy to drive and happy to work. I know I am meant for a grandeur beyond the alarm, and yet here I am.